Hello, one and all. Welcome to episode 93 of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. We're going to pick two random SoulsBorne bosses, and then they will be tasked with snow plowing. And then whoever plows their area the fastest will be the winner. Once again, this is weather dependent. Again, I'm recording this weeks ahead of time, so this is the middle of January, so one would think there'd be snow on the ground, but there is every chance that there's no snow on the ground at all, and we're just going to have to find something else for them to do. So you never know up here in the Northeast. You know, we like to joke that in upstate New York you can experience all four seasons in one day, and we've been getting that quite a bit lately as I'm recording this. So you just never ever know what season you're going to get on a particular day. So sometimes it's fun, sometimes it sucks. I can tell you that much. Alright, the battlefield has been cleared. It can house any and all SoulsBorne bosses, and it has housed all of them at least once in a SoulsBorne Battle Royal that took place several months ago. And there are pretty close to 100 bosses in this little generator that I have created, and some special spots that can create some fun and interesting scenarios. So it leaves a lot open to the imagination as to what could possibly happen here. So you never know what we're going to land on at any given time. That's the whole point. So we're going to stop this wheel, and we are going to see who the first opponent is going to be on this episode 93 of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. Slave Knight Gale from Dark Souls 3. The boss at the end of time. Literally the final boss of Dark Souls 3, at least if you go chronologically. Slave Knight Gale is he's tough. He is very, very, very tough. He would have been worthy of being the final boss in Dark Souls 3, like the actual final boss. He would have more than lived up to that moniker. Gale is a cool boss fight. He's just a really, really cool boss fight. That second phase is just straight up nonsense. But like, did he really need lightning shooting out of the sky? Like, just an extra obstacle for you? Like, it's just completely unnecessary, but it is what it is. But Slave Knight Gale is a main event fighter anywhere in the world, so definitely an awesome time to have him in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. Always, when he pops up, it's always a good time. So Slave Knight Gale is competitor number 1 on episode 93. We are going to take this wheel for another spin, and we are going to decide the opponent for Slave Knight Gale. I don't know how well he's going to do snow plowing, but I'm just going to have to figure that out when it comes up. I mean, he probably could do a very good job, but he might not, so I guess that's up to me to keep him in line. But, you know, I had to fight the old Demon King last week, so we all know how that went. So I do the best I can, you know. You see what I'm dealing with here. It's just garbage. Just straight up garbage. Alright, we have Slave Knight Gale on one end of the battlefield, and on the other end we have this cannot be. This cannot be. We do not do mirror fights on SoulsBorne Battle to the Death because there would be no point. It would make my job a lot easier, but I do not believe in that here. I believe in giving the audience what they want, and while a fight between Gale and Gale would be fun to watch, it just renders the entire show completely meaningless. So we're going to take this wheel for one last spin. We are going to take this wheel for one last spin, and we are going to find a real opponent for Slave Knight Gale on this episode 93 of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. We are going to not land on Slave Knight Gale, because that is not a thing. Right wheel. Okay, cool. Glad we're on the same page. Slave Knight Gale on one end of the battlefield, and on the other end we have the Moon Presence from Bloodborne. Did this fight already take place? Now I'm going to have to take a look. Hold on one second. Nope, I think we're good. I don't know why I thought that, but the Moon Presence has only had one fight here on SoulsBorne Battles to the Death, and it was against Dark Beast Parl during a period where Parl just seemed to be showing up every single week. Gale has had a couple of fights here on Battle to the Death. He's fought Udex Gundyr, and he's fought... Hold on, I just had it, but I don't have it anymore. Oh, he fought the Elden Beast. He fought the Elden Beast on episode 20. And I think that's it. So, yeah, this fight is cleared. It's Slave Knight Gale versus the Moon Presence, which is a very interesting fight, certainly. So, yeah, that is very cool. That's a main event fight right there, for sure. Definitely a main event fight. So, that is awesome. We are going to go to the contractually obligated bio, so let's have a look at Slave Knight Gale. So, Slave Knight Gale, as you might have guessed, is a slave knight. And it's a situation that he escapes. I'm going to try and tell the story as shortly and concisely as possible, so here we go. Gale escapes the life of a slave knight, finds himself in the painted world of Ariandel. He meets the painter, who possesses such great knowledge of the first flame and the dark soul that she wants to paint a new world. Sister Freed comes into the picture. She was an unkindled that tried to link the first flame and failed. So she finds the people there that she wants to protect. So she takes on the form that would appeal to them the most, I guess. Everyone in the painted world knows that the time will come when they have to burn their world and restore it. And Freed is opposed to this and wants the world to die a slow death by rot rather than burning because she's a bitch, I guess. The painter becomes imprisoned. Gale escapes the painting. Gale is aware of a prophecy that when ashes become two, the flame will return to burn the rot away. Sister Freed is the first ash, and so Slave Knight Gale is on a quest to find another ashen one, which is where you come into the picture. Quick side note, I really need like a Miyazaki alert like thing on the screen, like, you know, when shit doesn't make sense. So Gale helps you defeat Sister Freed and Father Ariandel, and then before the painter can paint her cold and bleak new world, which in her mind is a good thing, I guess, she needs a special pigment, the Dark Soul. So Gale's quest is not over. He goes in search of the Dark Soul. This search takes him all the way to the end of the world and the end of time. And he finds the Pygmy Kings who are in possession of the Dark Soul, but their blood is too dried and it is almost useless. So Gale consumes them, basically, eating and drinking their souls, so that maybe the Dark Soul could be useful again. And unfortunately, it consumes him and basically makes him into a beast. When you reunite with him at the end of time and the end of the world, he is not himself anymore, and he tries to kill you, and then you kill him, and you take the Dark Soul and you bring it back to the painter to complete his story. That's basically it, and the painter creates a whole new world. So, once again, Miyazaki alert. I don't know what to tell you. That's basically the story, and that's just the way it is. The Moon Presence is one of the great ones in Bloodborne, and it controls and manipulates everything inside and around and about the Hunter's Dream, which is where the game of Bloodborne takes place. The Moon Presence's origin is largely unknown, but its first known appearance was through Lawrence, the hunter, I guess, who summoned it for unknown reasons. How Lawrence knew how to do this is also unknown. Perhaps he just decided, if I eat these 1/3 of umbilical cords, something will happen somehow. I have no idea. Before you encounter the moon presence in the dream, it had bound Gehrman, the first hunter, to the dream, the hunter's dream, which was a tactic seemingly used to fuel its own desire to get rid of the other Great Ones. Whether or not this has to deal with halting the scourge of the beast or the slaughter of the Great Ones is unknown. But the moon presence does seem to have its own agenda of getting rid of the other Great Ones, as evidenced by certain notes you find in the game. So I suppose it's kind of interesting that the moon presence wants to be the only Great One. Especially since the Great Ones seem to have no malevolent intentions. It just seems kind of odd to me that the moon presence does have that particular malevolent intention. But it is what it is, I guess. I guess it just wants to be the one, I suppose. And that's really it in terms of lore when it comes to the moon presence. In terms of appearance, in the fandom wiki, it is described as an eldritch being composed of human flesh and bone with the exception of its head. It is covered in dozens of tentacles, mainly in its head, where they resemble hair and tail. Its body is mainly a large human spine and ribs. Moon presence doesn't have a face. Instead, it only has a hole in its head. So, yeah, basically, in terms of boss design, it's the same type of boss design that Miyazaki uses. Basically a randomizer in his brain that, just comes up with all kinds of different shit, and then basically what he comes up with, he just draws, creates, whatever he does to just create these amazing boss designs that he somehow comes up with. The moon presence is an intimidating presence, to be sure, when you first see it. In terms of being a difficult boss, it is certainly not one of the most difficult bosses in Bloodborne, but it will certainly give you some issues. When you first start the fight, it'll attack you with 3-hit combos that cover a very large distance, so its reach is pretty incredible. So you can't really... outrunning it is very difficult. When it reaches half health, it'll start to cast white orbs that explode into blood. It'll cast or apply a debuff it's similar to numbing mist, so that can make things very difficult. And perhaps most terrifying of all is that it can unleash an AoE shockwave that can reduce your health down to 1. You cannot avoid this attack. However, when the moon presence does this attack, it needs 5 or 6 seconds to recover, which obviously gives you time to recover as well. But, it can be a problem, especially if you don't have any blood vials or things like that, you could be up shit's creek without a paddle, so that's a thing as well. Like I said, the moon presence is not one of the most difficult bosses in Bloodborne, but it is the final boss, so it still can cause you some problems, and certainly not a boss that you want showing up on a blind date either. I think that goes without saying. And if it does, just pretend you don't know what's going on, and walk right past it and go to your car and leave and go home, and go back to Tinder and try again. I guess that's really all there is to say about that. But as a boss in Bloodborne, it's certainly formidable, and when it comes up in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, it can certainly create some interesting scenarios. So there's nothing wrong with that, and I don't mind seeing the moon presence pop up in Battle to the Death. I realize that this is kind of a fight between two final bosses, and I know that Gale isn't really a final boss, but in a way he is. But my first thought when I saw this fight was Gale is going to annihilate the moon presence. Like that was just, I just felt like I didn't feel like the moon presence stood a chance. And then I watched a boss fight on Boss Fight Database on YouTube, and I did not remember the moon presence being that aggressive. He was far more aggressive than I remembered. That being said, my opinion has not changed. I do feel that Slave Knight Gale wins this fight, and probably wins it pretty handily. I did see a lot of parts in that boss fight where the moon presence was just kind of standing there doing nothing. And every time the moon presence does that, Gale is going to make it pay. Every time. And very brutally, too. Gale is very aggressive, as we all know. And there's not a lot of wasted motion when it comes to Slave Knight Gale. And I don't think that the moon presence has enough tools in its arsenal to deal with Gale. I really don't. Gale has a lot of different things he can play with, and the moon presence just mostly slashes about and whips its appendages about and does this and that or whatever. So yeah, I don't think that the moon presence stands very much of a chance against Slave Knight Gale. I think Slave Knight Gale takes the victory pretty easily in this one, but that is just my opinion. Feel free to leave yours in the comments. And with that, yet another edition of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death draws to a close. RobertBlanchardBooks.com. If you're interested in the award-winning Roar of a Dragon series, you can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. If you'd like to hear more about them, the Rise of Dragons podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. My Linktree, my Instagram, my Twitter, all Bobby's World 2110. Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is the Dark Souls Remastered No Estus run. This past Monday is a big one. This past Monday is the Win or Bust episode against the Iron Golem. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. Some interesting things taking place there, and some more Dark Souls bullshit to deal with. So yeah, if you're documenting all that, you're going to want to check out that episode. Back in the archives, I have the Elden Ring No Crimson Flask run, Volume 1 Limgrave. I have the Sekiro No Healing Gourd run. I have the Dark Souls 3 No Estus run and the Dark Souls 3 No Level Up run. So check those out if you are interested. There is also a whole slew of Bobby's World Hunger Games for you to check out. The Your Father's Story videos are up. I just put a brand new one up this past week, episode 6. Answering questions such as, who was my first kiss? So, yeah. If you're interested in the answer to that question, go check it out. And many others as well. And I am very proud to announce a brand new live stream. The Bobby's Gaming Lounge. Hopefully, as of right now, to take place every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a place where I play video games and we can just chat and just hang out. That's why it's called the lounge. So we're just gonna be there to hang out, and I'm very happy to be finally doing live streams on a regular basis. So this is something I've been working towards for over a year now, and I'm finally able to do it. So I'm very, very grateful and excited for that. I love doing the live streams. It's a completely different experience, and I just like performing live in front of everybody. It's just a great deal of fun, so I'm looking forward to that. Last week I did Ghost of Tsushima, played that for a couple hours. The week before that was Silent Hill 2, the remake, and the week before that was the No Level Up build of mine in Dark Souls 3 against the Nameless King. So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing this week yet. I may yet do my No Level Up build on Dark Souls 3 against Sister Frida. So that'll be a blast. I started doing that on the live stream, that one live stream as well. So yeah, tune in Wednesday 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the channel for Bobby's Gaming Lounge and see what I'm doing. Wednesdays 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what you're watching right now. SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, and you just watched it, so I don't really have to explain exactly what it is. So that's all I really have for you, and I really appreciate all the love and support that I've been getting lately. The subscriber count is slowly climbing back up, and it's been amazing, and I really, really appreciate it. It's been on a steady decline for the last couple years because the subs that I have are very largely based on the Jacksepticeye compilations that I made on the channel, which I love, and it's just a tribute to Jack. That he was my first favorite YouTuber, so I think Jack's just a genuine guy, and it was just fun to make compilations on him. So it's always awesome to see the love that those compilations have gotten, and I really appreciate that. But as I've stopped making those compilations, started making my own stuff, and some people have realized that I'm not actually Jacksepticeye. I don't know why they would think that in the first place. The sub count has slowly been declining, and now it's climbing back up. So that is awesome, and it means a lot to me that my work is starting to get a little bit more recognition and more appreciation. So yeah, I have nothing else to say to that other than thank you, and that inspires me to just keep busting out more content and keep grinding myself into the dirt, as I keep saying every week. I got my full-time job, and I'm doing this basically on the side, and I'm just watching it grow, and it's just been amazing. And my full-time job is rewarding as well, and I think I'm about to see something pretty amazing happen this year as well in that line of work. So things are going to get a whole lot busier, as I've been talking about, and Kate's been very supportive of me continuing to do this, and knowing that I love it, and it's just been awesome. It's been so amazing, and I really appreciate it. And the love from you guys just makes it so much easier to do this, and makes it so much more rewarding. So I say that basically almost every video I do on here. So but I can't say it enough. I really can't. Yeah, it's been so awesome. So thank you guys so very much, and I'm gonna keep doing everything I can to push more more content out to you, and be the best entertainer that I can possibly be, because that's what I love doing. I love to entertain, and I think that's what I am at heart, is an entertainer, or at least I try to be anyway. How good of an entertainer I am is up for debate. That's for you guys to judge, not me. So so I got the books, I got the podcast, I got YouTube, I've got all this other stuff, and now I'm venturing out into live streaming. So yeah, it's been awesome. So, and it's not worth anything without you guys. So that's it. I love you guys, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going until the wheels fall off, and that could be any time. So you never know. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I feel like there's something I should be plugging, and I don't know what it is. But no, I think I hit everything. I hit SoulsBorne Battle of Death. I hit the Dark Souls Remastered Noesis run, the live stream, the archives, all that stuff. So I think I hit on everything. So no, that's pretty much it. I hope everyone has an amazing week. Be well, stay safe, and as always, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it. See you live, y'all. Bye.
Hey, bot.
Yes, Courtney.
Mrs. Anderson called. She wanted to order several copies of your books for family and friends.
Oh, that's amazing. Get some ordered. Have them sent over to me, and I will sign them for her. I really appreciate it if you could do that for me.
I didn't know you were an author.
You did. Courtney, you've been with me for like 2 years now, and we've talked about it fairly constantly, and there's an ad at the end of every one of these videos.
Well, that doesn't mean that I listen to everything you tell me. Are the books any good?
Well, readersfavorite.com said that its intensity rivals that of the Game of Thrones series. I know, that's pretty crazy, but that's exactly what it says. It's on the Cry of a Raven review. Go check it out.
Well, that's pretty cool. What are the books about?
It's about a soldier who gets exiled for saving a baby dragon, and later he's killed, and he wakes up 3,000 years later with strange powers, and he's watched over by the very same dragon, and the world has been overrun by evil, and he now must travel back in time to stop the evil that started in his own home country.
Wow, that sounds interesting. How can I get copies of the books?
Well, you can go to robertblanchardbooks.com and order your copies there. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast.
You have a podcast too?
You know what, Courtney? You are doing such an amazing job that I think you are due for a raise. How does that sound?
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you, boss.
You bet. Too bad the raise is going to be when I raise a water balloon over her head and just... Maybe I'll wait until her mom calls. I think she'll find that pretty funny. Go to robertblanchardbooks.com right now and get your copies of the series that got 3 5-star reviews from readersfavorite.com, 3 Author Shout Recommended Reads Awards, and 2 Literary Titan Silver Awards. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free, read more reviews, short stories, and much more. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts.